Good morning, everybody. You are currently listening to a Tall Girls podcast hosted by a tall girl named India. I hope everyone who's tuning in today is doing super fantastic. Before I get into this episode, I do want to say make sure you follow me on my socials at a Tall Girls podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest so that you can stay up to date on all of the latest podcast episodes and catch a glimpse of my everyday life. Also, feel free to leave me a review and let me know how tall you are. I'm genuinely curious. Everything is going to be linked in the description. Well, there's only 2 days left in 2023. What? Well, probably less than that by the time this is up. Less than 48 hours. We're going to be in 2024. I honestly don't know where the time has gone. I just feel like during holiday season, once Thanksgiving hits, it's just all a blur from there. We got Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all in that Small Business Saturday, and then going straight into like the Hanukkahs and the Kwanzas and the Christmases and the New Year's. It just, the last month and what, 1 or 2 weeks just flew by. But honestly, I hope that your holiday season has gone well. I hope you got lots of gifts. I hope you got things that you wanted and asked for. I also hope that you got a lot of food. That's number one priority on the list is food. So I also hope that you got lots of food and just enjoyed your time with family and loved ones. It just seems like once holiday season hits though, everything just goes by quickly. And now that the new year is finally upon us, I think it's a good time to think about and look at our goals. I personally think that the new year is a great time to reset. Listen, it's not like you absolutely have to have like goals for the new year, goals specifically for 2024. I personally think that you should be having goals all the time, like running goals every second of the day, and you should be trying to, okay, that's a little bit intense, but I think that any time of the year you should have goals and you should be actively working towards those goals. I just think that the new year is a good time to reset. It's almost like you're closing one chapter, you're leaving one chapter of your life in the previous year and you're stepping into a new one. That's why I just feel like it's good to have new goals for that new chapter. But you don't necessarily have to have these. Like I said before, you can have it any time of the year. You can start earlier, you can start later, you can start whenever. The point here is to actually have goals. And it's so interesting because like, I just feel like there's this negative connotation around New Year's resolutions. There's a reason why I say goals instead of New Year's resolutions, because sometimes I would ask people, yeah, like, what are your resolutions? What are your resolutions? It's like, oh, I don't have those because nobody ever keeps up with them. And just like, prime example, when people say, I'm going to go to the gym and get a fit body for the summer. And yeah, they sign up for that gym membership. I've seen that a lot at my gym where there's a lot of people there in January and part of February, but then after that it just falls off because people just get so into their work and other things that they don't go back. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's a prime example of why people think that having these New Year's resolutions is not a good thing, not a vibe. A lot of the complaints I hear is that it's stupid and they never follow them. People never really follow them. It's just dumb. But I personally think that if it's something that you really want to do and you want to strive towards, yes, there's going to be hiccups. It's going to be on and off, but you should still have that goal in place anyways. I believe that it's good to have something to look forward to and set goals and work towards them. I just think that those things are good. So I feel like maybe I could just share a couple of mine. We could just talk about it. We could have a chit chat about goals, and maybe that can inspire you to set some for yourself or inspire some new goals that you want to set for yourself. Or we could just talk about our goals and our ideas and plans. Whatever works for you, whatever is good for you. There are going to be a lot of different areas in terms of my goals. I don't think I'm going to be able to share all of them because I don't think I'll have enough time for that. Unless you want to stay here for an hour, you can let me know. Hit me up if you want to sit here for an hour. We could talk about our goals. But the main area where I have a lot of goals in is specifically for this podcast, actually. I just want to start taking it more seriously. And it sounds bad. It sounds really weird that I'm saying take it more seriously because I already do take it seriously. But I'm also juggling this along with my work and along with school. I'm so glad that that's done. Oh my gosh, I somehow finessed all of my finals. this semester. Don't ask me how, because I genuinely thought I was gonna flop. But that's besides the point. That's in the past. Okay, that's in the past, and then that's gonna be in the future because I'm gonna start school again in a month. But that we're not talking about school. We're talking about this podcast. I just really want to start giving more of my time, giving more of my energy, and giving more of my effort into it, especially now that I'm headed into my last semester of undergrad. I believe that this is a good time now to start doing more with this because I really, really want to help people who tune in. I really want this podcast to be a platform and a voice for tall women, tall people to share their experiences and stories and tips and promote businesses that look out for us tall people and just really develop a strong relationship with the tall community. I really want to get more involved in the tall girl community specifically. I especially want to have more guests on here, more tall women on here speaking, not just business owners, but just tall women in general, especially tall women who are promoting height inclusivity and height positivity or height neutrality and all that good stuff, body positivity, body neutrality. I just want to invite more tall women on here, not just brands, but also like just, I don't want to say regular schmegular people like me because everybody's unique and everybody's awesome, but just more tall women to just share their experiences and stories. I feel like I have not had enough guests on here, but that's just personally my opinion, and I just want more of those. So I definitely think that that's one of my main major goals for the new year with this podcast. And another thing is tall brands. One of my goals is to support tall brands and tall business women. Like, I see y'all putting in that work, and y'all deserve all the love in the world. But I definitely want to get more guests and more voices on here. I want to do brand collaborations with other tall businesses and tall brands, and definitely get equipment. Better equipment. I'm filming this on my phone. I am using a super old mic. Oh my gosh, the journey with my microphones has been crazy because I went through a couple microphones that keep breaking and there's like these staticky sounds. I'm using this super old mic from 4 years ago, and I personally just think it's time to upgrade. I have this feeling inside of me that I just really want to upgrade. So I asked some of you, well, some of the podcasters, I should say, because I follow a couple of them and some of them follow me back. I asked a couple podcasters on the social media platforms, on my social media platforms, what microphones they use and what do they recommend. So I definitely want to do my research over the next few weeks and just try to get better equipment because I definitely think that it's time to upgrade, and this podcast definitely deserves an upgrade. And next, I definitely want to take a look at my career and finances. I just really need to start thinking about my future, both in the short term and the long term. Because as you probably can tell by now, I am a senior in undergrad. I am 21 years old. I'm an adult, and I'm about to graduate from college and step into the real world. And I would say that it was definitely scary when I was like in my sophomore year, even in my junior year. But now I'm just like, I feel like it's time for me to enter that phase. And yeah, I'm still nervous, but I'm not as nervous, and I'm actually getting a little bit excited because I just feel it in my bones that I just want to start thinking about what to do next, and I want to see what's next for me. So thinking about my career and finances is definitely the first step. As you guys may know, I want to go to grad school, and that takes money. So I just want to get my finances in order to pay for that. I also want to be able to afford myself more. I mean, I afford myself now, but eventually I have to start thinking about rent and all these other bills, along with being able to still have a life. So I just think that getting into budgeting will be very good for me, very beneficial for me. Actually, my number one goal for 2024. So for 2023, I wanted to have $1,000 in my savings account, and to date, I literally checked this morning. To date, I have $1,075 in my savings account. So I'm super happy for that. Super proud of myself for that. So for 2024, I want to get 2,500 in there. I think I could do it. I have faith in myself. I think I could do that. I can pull that off. If I got 1,075 in just a few months, because I didn't start like actively getting back into my savings till like the last half of this year, I think that I can pull 1,500 next year. And if it's more, hey, I'll take that. I'll take that. Building savings is definitely the top on my list. I really want to start putting money away towards my short-term and long-term goals because I want to take trips next year. I have to start applying to grad school, and that takes money. I had to take a course for the GMAT, I think, because I have to take the GMAT. And well, I don't have to, but it's best to, honestly. And I also have to pay for applications. Those application fees do add up. So I need to start doing that. And another goal of mine actually involving grad school, I want to have a finalized list for the schools that I want to apply to. I only want to apply to 4 or 5. So I want to have a final list of 4 or 5 graduate schools to apply to and start working towards those. And then, of course, for my career, it's just super tricky. That's a very tricky aspect because I want to put in more work. Like my main goal for January, it's not even the whole year, it's just January itself. I want to get a certification. I'm going to get another certification. I'm going to get the Google Analytics certification. Because if you didn't know, I'm in content marketing. So I want to get a Google Analytics certification. So I'm going to do that. That's my goal for January for sure. I'm thinking about getting another one after I graduate, but we'll see because I kind of want to give myself a break from stressing out about learning. But learning in school is also a little bit different than learning from your career, you know what I mean? But definitely for sure, get that certification. Part of me wants to do more, get more hours, put in more work, learn more, improve my skills, but I also have to think about the time aspect because I do have to go back to school at the end of January and finish that out. And on top of that, I'm not taking a super long break before grad school. It's only a couple months, so I had to think about my time then as well. So it's a little bit tricky, but I'm just going to take that day by day, month by month. And then the last aspect that I really, really want to focus on is my self-confidence. I think that I came a very, very long way these past 2 years, especially after starting this podcast, and I'm really proud of myself for that. But yes, you can make a lot of progress, but there's always, not always, but there's still work to do. There's still more work for me to do. Because a lot of these self-esteem issues and body confidence issues that I've had is very deep rooted from since I was 6, 7 years old. So that's something that I really want to continue working on. I still have a lot of my insecurities and I kind of want to work on sharing those. I want to work on opening up more about those and just being vulnerable. I think that that is very important in trying to get to the bottom of why you feel a certain way about yourself. So I think that being vulnerable and being more open about my insecurities is very, very important. And that's something that I really want to do. As a tall woman, in terms of self-confidence, it can be hard. It's not necessarily about the height itself, but it's also about the internal and external battles. It's not just what other people say about you and what other people say about your height. It's also about what you say about yourself. And I want to work more towards saying nicer things to myself and about myself. I feel like I was doing good when the school semester started, but when the stress hit and when the stress kicked in, I kind of strayed away from that. So I definitely want to make that a point to, when I wake up, look myself in the mirror and say 2 nice things about myself. It could be personality, physical, both, it doesn't matter. But I definitely want to start getting back into that so I can start the day with a more positive mindset. But those are more so the things that I really want to start working towards as soon as possible in 2024. And even now, I can even start now. I don't have to wait. But definitely in 2024, I'd want to work on those areas. And notice also that not all of my goals are super, super specific. Yeah, they say, yeah, you should set SMART goals and make sure they're very specific and measurable and all that stuff. But goals change over time. Yes, it's good to have a set thing and know that it could possibly change over time, but also it takes some figuring out to know exactly what you want to do. So sometimes just going with emotions and seeing how it goes, you can figure out exactly what you want. And I don't know exactly what I want in everything. I just know that I want to improve in a certain area, or I want to do something in a certain area that can better my life. And over time, I'll figure out what exactly I need to do. And then from there, I'll be able to set that goal. So that's how I try to look at it. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself to know everything and know it all now before I go into 2024. I'm just not going to put too much pressure on myself in general because I deserve a little bit, just a little bit of a break. And so do you. So I hope that me talking about my goals and sharing it has inspired you. And let me know what your goals are. And I hope that doing this has also helped you to realize that, you don't have to have everything figured out. And just because there's like this negative connotation with New Year's resolutions, you can still set goals and work towards them and do them in the new year. So, yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it and I appreciate you. As I've said a little bit before, let me know what you think about my goals. If you have any feedback for me, we can also talk about your goals. We could talk about each other's goals. Let's have a goal chat. I'm so down for that. And just let me know, what are you doing for the new year? Are you doing like a little party for the new year? Are you just staying in for the new year? Are you sleeping through the new year? Like, are you going to be in bed at like 10 p.m. and just wake up and, oh, it's 2024? Let me know if you have any New Year's plans, or if you just want to have a chit chat, we could do that too. And once again, thank you so much, guys, for making this an amazing 2023. It was such a pleasure growing this community, growing this tall girl community that we have. And I honestly cannot wait to see what 2024 has in store for us. So I will catch you guys in the next one, and I will catch you guys in the next year. Good night and goodbye.